Hi, this is Gail Fry, and this is EDL 854, Building Finance. This is Module 6, Methods and Procedures for Managing Credit Cards. There are three types of purchasing cards. Type 1 is the general purchasing card, used by schools and departments to purchase supplies for school use, business travel, and high-volume invoices. There's Type 2 that's used for larger purchases. Examples would be textbooks and computers. And there's a Type 3, which is the AP card, which is used by the finance department to pay recurring bills such as utilities. The use of purchase cards requires the purchaser to follow federal, state, and local laws, as well as school board policies and procedures. A cardholder may be asked to explain their purchase if necessary. Misuse of the card will result in immediate payment of all charges rendered by the purchaser that were improper and will be handled by the appropriate authorities depending on the violation. Employees that are authorized may use credit procurement cards in accordance with state and federal guidelines. The implementation procedures are the division director, operations, the superintendent designee develops the process for these. The distribution of credit procurement cards, training users how to appropriately use the cards, verifying appropriateness of use of cards, reporting to administration and the Board of Education, and publishing and updating the USD 259 Purchasing Card Employee Manual. The purpose of a purchasing card program is to make a more cost-effective and efficient way of paying for small dollar items and larger volume repetitive purchases. So there are duties and responsibilities that go along with these purchasing cards. One of the duties and one of the responsibilities is the program administrator. They have the direct relationship with the bank, so they can answer questions, deal with issues that arise, and oversee the entire program. So all cards must go through them. The purchasing specialist assists the program administrator, and they reconcile the monthly statements and resolve discrepancies. The cardholder uses the card for supplies or materials for school, but they need to follow the guidelines and they have to submit receipts monthly. The budget manager is the designated card holder, and they do take care of the credit card receipts. They also ensure that if an employee leaves the district or is terminated, that they retrieve the card back. And then there's also customer service, which is goes along with the card, and that's the company that, such as a bank that has the credit card, and you're able to call that usually 24/7, so, and get information about the card. When a purchase card is issued, the purchaser must sign an agreement that they accept responsibility for the protection and proper use of the card. If not followed, they are responsible for the funds that were misused. So adequate use of a card consists of the following documentation: itemized invoice on letterhead, cash receipt, register receipt, printed online order form, a facsimiles of itemized order, handwritten voucher with items purchased, and you'll need to have a signature, an address, phone number, and tax ID with that. Responsibility, reconciliation, and payment. The purchasing card program carries corporate liability, not individual. So individuals who are designated to use the card will have their name on the card. The card is part of a district-wide program, so the district makes the monthly payments. It does not affect the user's credit. The district will make monthly payments. However, you're required to obtain all the receipts for the goods and services purchased and turn those in. There are some purchasing restrictions and limits. A purchase of an unauthorized service, product, or commodity are prohibited. Dollar value limits will be made, and splitting of transactions is prohibited. The cardholder should be aware of their balance at all times. To prevent further misuse of procurement cards in Champaign, Illinois in 2018, the district set new policies and parameters. The misuse consisted of catered meals, working lunches, and snacks, flowers for funerals, and gift cards for student and staff incentives. The new policy states that procurement cards shall only be used for those expenses that are for the district benefit and a valid public purpose, such as job-related expenses that are for the district and benefit the district, and a valid public purpose, such as a job-related expense purchases by the board or district, student activities, or purposes that would be used through a conventional fund. Some of the things that they require is that a card will be distributed by the district business office, that the business office will monitor all the purchases. The business office has the right to block vendors and set purchase limits. Certain purchases will be limited for food, flowers, and gift cards, and the business office can reduce spending limits on certain cards if necessary. More abuse of district credit cards. So the FBI subpoenaed the Dallas School District for possible credit card abuse beginning in 2004. There were relationships with vendors that resulted in the use of a fishing boat, as well as thousands of reports of wasteful spending. And those employees that could not justify their spending with receipts or other records were held liable. A Greendale superintendent in Wisconsin was forced to resign after misusing district funds. Records show he spent almost $10,000 in home repairs and family travel. And then the Caddo Parish School District was not enforcing its credit card policy even after an employee stole over $26,000. Purchases by the district employees were not being documented properly or with no documentation, and many of the employees had credit cards and some had more than one. The auditors reported that there was an internal control weakness, which would not prevent theft, and they took over and recommended requiring documentation and strengthening policies. So Wichita Public Schools has a misuse of district credit card policy, and it states that purchases that are not authorized are illegal, unethical, or a conflict of interest, personal in nature, or violate the intent of the district policy, may result in revoking the credit card or even possibly termination of employment. So in conclusion, following all the guidelines set forth by your district is the best policy. In our district, Wichita Public Schools 259, we must keep receipts. We have to turn them in monthly. We cannot purchase personal items or candy or food items for our students or paper as of last year. So we are limited to a certain dollar amount set forth by our school, and that is determined by the school principal. So that means some schools may give their teachers more money to spend on their procurement cards than others. And this is my reference page. Thank you for listening.